Welcome to the Geeks podcast YouTube channel. This is your called What You Doing, where we talk about what we watched and played during the week. I'm your host, Enterprise. With me today, Ahorita, by myself, Doug. So let's get into it, Doug. Starting off with Scape. To my surprise, this was a free game put out there by Ubisoft. I believe it's their hat in the ringer in the battle royale scene. Did I only play it because it's free? Yes. So I checked it out or played it a couple rounds. It kind of feels like they want you to invest a little bit more in the character that you create. Obviously that's going to lead to you to spend more money and upgrade him and all that. It just feels very meh. It just feels very like basic first-person shooter. They do add a couple elements to try to spice it up. So it's a very basic battle royale. You could do team base. You can do it by yourself. I did a couple solos. You just drop from the sky, you land some part of the map, and the map starts to shrink. You need to look for guns, you need to look for ammo, you need to look for anything. There's power-ups that help you. You do double jumps, and then at a certain time mark, you can hear the voiceover go, oh, this ability has been activated, and everybody is granted that ability for a certain amount of time. There's this cool ability that you turn into a ball and bounce around. I just don't know if it's going to have a very prominent future in what is the Battle Royale scene right now. I don't see this becoming like an e-tournament. In the e-tournament scene, I don't see that a lot of people playing it like that. I don't see it, competing with Fortnite or Warzone or none of that. It is a fun, cool little just pop in, shoot for a little bit. I'm not a first-person shooter connoisseur. I enjoy them, but I'm not particularly very good because I'm a blind motherfucker. But I think I finished 16th, the first time I played. And I think it's out of 60. It's not out of 100. I think it was out of 60. Or am I confusing Fall Guys? Because Fall Guys is also out of 60. I don't remember. It's a very whatever. It says this is episode 1 or season 1, so they might be adding more stuff to their seasons and maybe adding more guns and maybe adding more things. But honestly, I don't see this game lasting as much as at least Fortnite did. But it's options. I wanted to give it a shot and see what's good. After that, I watched a movie on Netflix that was recommended by a fan, Victor C. Shout out, was good, was popping. It is a Spaniard movie, so in English is titled Unknown Origins. In Spanish is called Orígenes Secretos, which translation is actually Secret Origins, but it's called Unknown Origins. It has a very cool premise. So what happens is there's a murderer on the loose, and every crime scene is set up like the origin story of superheroes in comic books, like the Hulk, Iron Man, amongst others. Fun fact about the lisp in the Spain, which I found this to be a little fascinating and pretty cool. The reason why they have a lisp is because back in the day there was a king that had a lisp, and everybody was afraid that they were going to get killed, so they started to copy the king. And then it just kept going and kept going and kept going to the point where now, not thousands, hundreds of years later, everybody got a lisp. Pretty cool. I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, like I said, this premise got me. It's very geeky. The intro for the movie made it feel like it was gonna be like a Saw movie, like you're scared and all that shit. But it's like a buddy cop movie. It has buddy cop elements, like they're bickering because one of the detectives is an old guy. He's retiring, and this new hotshot guy comes in, and he's gonna like take his place. And the son of the detective that's retiring, he's a nerd. He's a geek. He basically looks like one of us, right? He actually looks like Josh Gad and Jack Black had a baby, but whatever. He's a geek, and they make it blatantly obvious in the dialogue. At one point, he says something like the dad says something like, "Oh, you should be more like your brother," and then he's like, "Oh, my brother's such a Gryffindor. I'm a Slytherin." It's kind of like, okay, you're hitting me over the head with it a little bit too much, but okay. So the premise got me hooked. Okay, they're trying to look for this killer, but the feeling of the movie is kind of all over the place. It's not serious, but it tries to be. But then they use like campy superhero music in the background when something's gonna happen. So like the feeling of the score just made it felt totally different. I was engaged through the movie. I wanted to see who the killer was. I thought I had it figured out, but it turns out no, I was completely 100% wrong. It gets really like goofy and mamon really quick. Like once you figure out who it is, the reasoning for it is kind of like, okay, okay, whatever. There's a boss lady who's the boss of the detectives, and she's like really into cosplay. She's kind of cute, cool. The dead bodies and the FX look funny. It just, I don't know. The premise is dope. I was into the premise, but I was thinking, could you take this premise and Americanize it and make it better? Because the execution on it was just campy and weird, you know. But I like the premise. It's a murderer running around, but leaving crime scenes like origin stories of superheroes. I'm in. But they just took it too silly. It felt like the parody superhero movie, but without the jokes. And with the trailer, I thought it was gonna be like Seven, you know, or something like you're gonna wrap your brain around trying to figure out. But it did have those moments, but at the same time, it was campy and weird. I don't know. Check it out. Like I would recommend probably Felix watch it like a date night with the girl, maybe. But other than that, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Like I said, the premise is dope. Now, can you take it and make it better, or is it just a lost cause? Because the way they did it kind of fall flat. Like, can you take something dope like this? See, I'm trying to compare with The Office, but The Office was a hit in the UK, and they Americanized it, but they Americanized a hit. Can you Americanize a turd and make it dope? You know? Because they try to Americanize Old Boy, the Korean movie, which is fucking dope. Haven't seen the American movie, but what I've heard, it's caca. It's a turd. Can you take this dope ass premise, Americanize it, make it cool? I don't know. Netflix been coming with the really cool premises, but the execution of the movies have been pretty flat and dookie. Speaking of dookie, Holmes, let's talk about a series I was pretty stoked about. It's an animation cartoon series called Hoops, of a coach voiced by the guy from New Girl. I forget his name. SOA. He's a high school coach, and he lives in his dad's shadow because the dad was like the best coach of all time, and he's just trying to be a good coach. But he's a wild mess. He's crude. He's very rude. Curses at the kids, and all he wants to do is win and try to keep his job. This was not good, Doug. I thought it was gonna be dope. There's a lot of fucks and dicks. It's like raunchy. It's like really, 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 really crude. Like they're groseros, bro. They're mean. But it's not funny. It's just bad words for saying bad words. But there's no substance to it. So they're just saying bad words. You know, the animation is kind of generic. Nowadays, there's one thing that grasps from the animation, like a part of the body or the face that pops, And from this one, it's the eyebrows. The way that they animate the eyebrows is different, so that makes the whole animation look cohesive because everybody's eyebrows are similarly drawn. But it's rated R. I just found it to be pretty boring. I didn't even finish the season. I think I watched 4 or 5 episodes on it. I got like a half chuckle. Like I wanted more, but he's just trying to make the team better, and his life is a shit show, and he's trying to do anything for the team, and this kid's got a problem and they gotta try to solve that problem, and then this kid is the tallest kid in school and they try to get him to this team, and it was just kind of like a wah. Like it wasn't as fun as I thought it was gonna be. So that got me kind of sad. But speaking of fun, dog, you know what is fucking fun? Ghost of Tsushima, dog. Now, note, I'm still in the middle of playing it, but I didn't play enough games, so I wanted to throw it in there. It's great. Ghost of Tsushima is fantastic. It's amazing. I like it. I'm not halfway. I'm probably maybe a third away in there. So hopefully they don't pull a Last of Us, and then I'm like, this is caca. So I just wanted to give it that a warning that I haven't finished it, because I don't like when people review stuff and haven't finished it. But I'm doing that, but I'm giving you a warning. I haven't finished. Anyway, you play as Jin Sakai. Your uncle is a samurai. You are a samurai. These Mongols come to your island to take over. They capture your uncle, and you need to save your uncle. To do that, you have to recruit a bunch of people who are loyal to your uncle, because the samurai are a dying breed. What I've heard about this game is that it's beautiful, right? Oh, it's gorgeous. And then I look at the phone, I'm like, it's whatever. Popping it in and watching, it's fucking amazing. Graphics are crazy. I don't recall sweat in a game being so jaw-dropping, which it is in this one. The water, which is weird, is okay water, but everything else, the leaves on trees, the colors are popping, because you can play this in black and white too, but I feel like you're missing a lot if you do that. I wanted to play with Japanese and subtitles, but it's a lot of reading because it's an open world game, so you talk to people a lot. So Japanese is better, but the voice acting isn't that terrible in English. But just because I'm lazy, I didn't want to read. So you have to recruit some of these compas to attack the Mongol castle to save your uncle. That's all I'm gonna say about the story. Nothing riveting or brand new, but so far it's been cool. The gameplay, when the trailer come out, I have to say, even though Bubba's don't listen to this shit, he called it. He said it was an Assassin's Creed. I was like, no, this don't look like no damn Assassin's Creed, and I gave him shit about it. It's pretty much an Assassin's Creed. You can sneak around, and everything sneaky are called ghost moves, and everything else are samurai moves. The combat is very timing heavy, very a la Dark Souls, very Jedi Fallen Order. I don't know what the name for those kind of games are, where it's all about timing and dodging and attacking and all that. We need to find a name for that. But it's that kind of combat. And you have 5 different stances. You got each stance is for different enemies. You got the big guys. You got big guys with lances and swords guys and sword and shield guys and all that kind of stuff, right? So you switch in between that to attack different enemies. There's a lot of shit to do. There is a lot of shit to do. A lot. Like, you can follow a fox and he's gonna lead you to a shrine, which that's gonna give you some resolve. And resolves are the little balls that you see on the bottom left corner, and you can use those to do heavier attacks, bigger attacks, or you can heal yourself. There's also something very cool where if you die and you have 2 resolves, you just come back like the Undertaker. Pretty sick. There is one thing that is blatantly missing, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it because it's something that is in every game, and at this point I took it for granted. There is no lock on, so you can't lock on enemies. So that's like the combat does take a little getting used to, and that's my main reason why, because you can't lock onto somebody and just stay with them while somebody else attacks you or whatever, right? So there's no lock on button, so everything's free. You know, there's Batman kind of combat where you hit somebody and you press a button, you counter attack and all that. Very fun. You get a bow, shoot people in the head. That's very cool. The map is like a little island, obviously, but it's separated into 3 sections, and you have to liberate some parts of the map. Everything is cloudy, and you need to walk over and you color it. As I say, you color the map to fill it in. But you liberate these parts, and you go in where there are Mongols take on over, and you go in there and kill everybody and you liberate it. There's different ways to kill it. If you start to kill everybody sneaky kind of Assassin's Creed, the weather changes and it gets more violent, and it gets rainy, it gets thunder and lightning and all that. The level of details and so many things that are in this game is crazy. When you're running through the flowers, and the flowers, the way the wind moves, that's another thing. You are guided by the wind. You swipe the sensor bar up, and then there's a wind that comes in, it points you to the right direction where you need to go. That also takes a little getting used to. It takes a little getting used to, but once you do, everything flows correctly and it feels right. You could just straight up be in the middle of a mission, just straight up walk away. There, you know, not main missions, but like side quests. You can just pick up and do something else if you want to. There are baths that you need to find, and that increases your health, and you get naked butt. Your Jin butt, he get naked and you can see his butt. Off the top of the dome, I forget what else you can do. There's so much shit you can do, and the way you get to that is either just by exploring and you stumble upon it, or you might save somebody who's being attacked by Mongols down the street, and then he'll be like, oh yeah, there's a thing over there, and it's just marked on your map, and then you just start to fill up the side quests, and you can do them or not do them. The way you come across missions is so organic and freeing. There's no like, go talk to this guy and this guy gonna tell you. You can talk to that guy if you want, or you could just keep walking east, and you're eventually gonna hit that, and you're gonna get to that same goal no matter what. You collect flowers, and the flowers you can change the color of your outfits. You could get different hats. You can buy hats. You can buy all this stuff. It's very fun. It definitely feels like there's a little bit of everything in this game. There's a little bit of Dark Souls with the combat. There's a little bit of Assassin's Creed with the sneaking around. There's a little bit of Far Cry with the liberating of the forts. There is, I feel like, a little bit of The Witcher in there. There's even a little bit of Red Dead to it. There's also this really cool mechanic where you challenge and go one-on-one with a samurai, or not a samurai, with the Mongols. So you wait for them to attack, and you press a button, and you slice them. You slice them fools, and then you upgrade. There's an RPG element where you upgrade your shit, and then you can link that attack to another one and hit another guy and hit another guy and hit another guy. The way that the blood splatters at the same motion as where the sword is going, just the amount of detail in this thing is crazy. The loading is very quick, which I also appreciate and enjoy. That's dope. Usually when I fast travel somewhere, I instinctively just reach for my phone to try to read something, but no, it's too late. I'm already where I need to go. The feeling of being a samurai, badass samurai, is definitely there. I don't think I need an Assassin's Creed Asia version, even though there is one, but it's a side scroller. Like maybe Ninja over Samurai. But this is tickling all my Assassin's Creed Oriental pickles. There's a lot to do, and I don't think might be a third of the way in. I'm honestly considering this to be top 5 games of 2020, man. Even though I don't play all of them, but I really, really enjoy Ghost of Tsushima. The sickest. Very cool. I'm trying to think if I remember if I forgot anything. No, that's about it. Hopefully when I finish it, my opinion on it does not change and stays the same. Speaking of being the same, let's move on to the final thing I watched this week. That was Bill and Ted Face the Music. If you are a fan of Bill and Ted, I don't think I am. I know, I'm not. A couple months ago, I sat down and watched the last two. Just I wanted to see what the big hoopla about it was, because when the trailer came out, everybody was shitting their pants over this Bill and Ted, Bill and Ted, Bill and Ted. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck about Bill and Ted, man? Who gives a shit? So the dealio in this one is that they are still in search of the song that's going to bring the world together, right? And Bill and Ted are the exact same way. They're still goofy. They're still dumb. They still talk the exact same way. Everything is the exact same way. They're still married to the same medieval ladies, and they each have a daughter. And the daughters are doing an impression of their dads the whole movie, because that's how they act. So there are two stories going on, right? The people in the future come and tell Bill and Ted, yo, you got till 7 o'clock today to figure out what the hell you're doing. Shenanigans happen and the daughters figure out what they have to do. They sit on in their own adventure. And similarly like in the first movie, the daughters set out to try to pick who they believe are the best musicians in time to try to create the dopest song ever that's going to reunite the world and save the world. While the daughters are going to the past, Bill and Ted are going to the future to meet with their future selves to see if they've written the song, try to get it. It's very stupid. The people in the future sent like a goofy Terminator guy to try to stop Bill and Ted because they're like, forget about you. We don't want anything to do with you anymore. He is kind of scary, but there's a little bit of action with the Terminator guy shooting at him and dodging, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's not the worst remake / reboot I've seen. My heart just isn't in that series a whole lot. I mean, I enjoyed my time. I'm not gonna, I don't know, I didn't expect any. My expectations were this movie was low. I did chuckle. I did laugh. It wasn't the worst thing ever. I don't know who wanted this movie to happen anyway. Like, Keanu's been killing it lately, and the other guy is there. But for what it is, I mean, it's okay. It's alright. Like, they're not winning any awards. Well, maybe they might be winning awards this year because nothing coming out and everything's up to the shits. But yeah, there's cool moments. There's references to the old movie. There's characters that we've seen in the other movies that meet each other and then come back, and it's okay. It's okay. If you are a fan of Bill and Ted, I definitely recommend it. I'm just not a crazy fan. But me not being a crazy fan, I enjoyed my time. That's about it. That's what we did this week. Leave a comment down below or slide in the DMs at Geeks, Flicks, and Joysticks on the Instagram, letting me know what the hell y'all been doing this time. Recommend some cool stuff for us to watch. We'll shout you out like I did for Vic C when he recommended Unknown Origins. Yeah. Forever you do you. I'm so lonely.